Hey everybody, welcome to Monday. Glad you guys are here with me again for another mic talk here at Song and Sword. I just sound like a DJ. Welcome to Song and Sword. Come on back every day for... Sorry, I digress. I need more coffee. Hope you guys are well on this Monday. Hope you didn't miss the sermon yesterday at Song and Sword. If you did, go to Song and Sword on our YouTube channel and listen to it. It's a great word about how we are just going to be a church that's endangered. Sometimes we are vulnerable to attacks from the enemy, but how we prevail through Jesus Christ. If you didn't get to hear it yesterday, go back and listen to it. And again, we're continuing to pray for what God's doing. We are a worldwide church online, and we're becoming a local congregation September 10th at 9 o'clock and 10:30 services, 9 o'clock child programming, children's programming. And so register your kids today at Song and Sword, if you would. 1-year-old through 5th grade, that's what we're taking right now. God bless you guys. Hope you're well. I'm getting some good rest and enjoying time with my wife and with the Lord and with staring at blue skies and palm trees. That's what I'm doing. Today I'm gonna read, I want to illustrate something by reading a passage that you probably think doesn't belong on a mic talk, but I'm going to begin in Exodus chapter 26, verse 11. The context is Moses is on the mountain. And I'm sorry, I'm going to start with verse 26. 26. Moses is on the mountain. He spends 40 days and God gives him all the instructions for the tabernacle, this glorious, fancy tent where the people of God are supposed to worship him. And so that's the context. Moses is listening to God as God describes for him the house that's going to contain his presence, the place of worship for the people while they're in the wilderness. And honestly, as I'm reading through this, yesterday I read through like 4 or 5 chapters of the whole design of the tabernacle and every clasp and gold clasp and all the curtains. And we come to verse 26 and he's talking about the framework for this tent that he's going to assemble. Verse 26, you shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames on the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames at the side of the tabernacle at the rear westward. The middle bar halfway up the frame shall run from end to end. You shall overlay the frames with gold, and you shall make the rings of gold for their holders, for the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. Then you shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan for it that you were shown on the mountain. He says this a couple times as he's instructing Moses. Let's be honest. As you're reading this passage, you're going bars of acacia wood, 5 on each side, the rearward west facing. You kind of get lost in it. One of the things I recommend when you're reading a passage like this and you know that God's describing some dimensions, you should find the diagram. Just Google diagram the Old Testament tabernacle. And then read that as you're looking at that diagram, and you'll understand a little bit. Yesterday I was journaling, and I actually drew just this little part here of what the tabernacle court would have looked like. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. But why is this important? Here's what I wrote in my journal yesterday. I wrote these words. You shall erect the tabernacle according to the plan for it that you were shown on the mountain. That's verse 30. Exodus 26. Why is God so concerned about the details of this tabernacle? Why does he care? Why doesn't he just say, hey, Moses, you've seen tents before. Build me a really nice one. Why are the details, every bar and every post and every pillar and every design, all the pomegranates, the holy place, the Holy of Holies, why is this so important? Well, Hebrews 8:5 tells us this, that all of these things are a shadow and a copy of heavenly things. Believe it or not, the design of this fabulous tent that God is going to be dwelling in the midst of his people, all the dimensions, all the measurements, all the materials, it's a copy and a shadow of heavenly things. In other words, God is saying, I'm going to try to give you a glimpse of eternal redemption, of eternal salvation, of eternal me saving you and bringing you into my heavenly place. God doesn't do anything just, by circumstance or just by chance. God has a plan for everything. And what that means for me and you today is that every detail matters. Every doctor visit, every breakfast coffee, every conversation, everything matters. The details matter with God because everything is pushing us to this heavenly place where He will dwell with us not just in a tent, but we will be in the presence of God forever and ever. So when you're reading through these passages in the Old Testament, you go blah, 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 because I know you do, because I'm a pastor and I do. Don't do that. Stop for just a moment and say, God, what is the eternal shadow? What's the eternal copy that you're showing me? Because through Jesus Christ, He's saying, listen, follow my words exactly, Moses. Build it exactly like I say, because I've got a purpose for every detail. Everything matters. And that means today, everything in your life matters and my life matters. Happy Monday, kids. Hope you have a good day.